the stock market. It's like a casino without the buffets. And for the last 24 hours, it's been on a wild ride.
Breaking news tonight, market meltdown. As the coronavirus spreads, stocks take a nosedive. The Dow closing down more than 2,000 points, the market's worst day since the 2008 financial crisis.
Wall Street's wild ride continued today. The Dow surged after President Trump talked about an economic stimulus plan. You can see stocks rallied in that final hour of trading, up 1,100 points to finish the day at 25.18.
Man, the stock market is crazy. Yesterday it crashes, then today it surges again. Like, it's so extra right now. It's always weird to me how the stock market never seems to have any sense of history, right? Because it's like everything that happens is happening forever, and then everything that's good is happening forever. It's almost like the way dogs think. That's who seems like they run the stock market, right? Because that's how dogs are. Whatever's happening is happening forever. When you leave the house, they're just like, oh no, you're leaving? You're going? You're going forever. I'm gonna starve. I'm gonna die. Oh my God. And then you come back, they're like, you're home. You're never gonna leave. This is so great. We're gonna do something. Wait, you're going again? I'm gonna die. Just breathe, stock market. But yes, the stock market dropped 2,000 points yesterday, wiping out $528 billion, which I'll be honest, I never understand. Because, like, where did it go? What do you mean you lost $528 billion? Like, what is that? Every time they say that, I'm like, have you checked your other genes? That's where most of the money is. And a lot of people are afraid of the market these days. But I'm making money consistently on the stock market. I'll even share my tip with you guys. Forget investing in companies. What I do is I put all my money in green lines that go up and red lines that go down. Yeah, I make a fortune no matter what. I also don't understand finance. And I normally don't feel sorry for Wall Street, but with the coronavirus, I feel like they're going through a lot. Yeah, because the one thing guys on Wall Street like to do when Wall Street is crashing is the one thing you're not allowed to do because of corona. Put your hands on your face. Yeah. So they spent all day yesterday like, oh no, my money. Oh no, corona. Oh no, my money. Oh no, corona. All right, but let's move on to some international news. Because while corona is shaking up the stock market, Vladimir Putin is shaking up Russia's constitution.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has suggested that he is not against a proposed amendment to the constitution that could keep him in power for many years.
Vladimir Putin came to Parliament and said, if the Constitutional Court says yes, then it should be possible for the current president, him, to run again. And that means he could run for 2 more terms in office. That's 12 more years of Vladimir Putin. He could be in power until 2036.
Yes, Vladimir Putin is trying to change the constitution so that he can stay in power long after he's supposed to leave. And that is bad, but at least now America can see that there's nothing personal, because Russia even meddles in its own elections. And this is big news, because you realize Putin is 67 years old now, so if he gets these additional terms, he'll only leave office when he's 83 years old, which is just young enough to run for president in America. I do feel bad for the Russian people who care about democracy, though, like, especially Putin's supporters, you know? Yeah, because what do they chant at his rallies? You don't even know what to chant. It's like, 4 more years. 4. He's like, just 4? 8 more years. Just 8? You tell us. You tell us. What's interesting about this story as well is that Putin is a dictator, but it's interesting how he still goes through the Russian legislature and the courts to try and change it. It's a reminder that constitutions are only as valuable as the people who safeguard them. Right? I mean, like, that would only apply here if America ever got a president with a bunch of lackeys in Congress who let him fill the courts with whoever he wanted. Then Americans would be in big trouble, but that can't ever happen. I mean, that's not real, right? Let's move on to some news coming out of Africa. Because climate change has been affecting weather patterns across the globe. Some people in the motherland are experiencing it more than most.
It is a locust invasion of epic proportions, and it is swarming East Africa right now.
So the United Nations says that these insects could decimate the region's food supply, and it's concerned it could become a full-blown plague.
For 3 months now, swarms of desert locusts have been eating their way through East Africa. Here in Kenya's Laikipia County, people bang utensils to try and ward off an increasing menace to their livelihoods. All to no avail. The locusts keep coming. A voracious appetite means these locusts eat the equivalent of their own body weight in a single day. Beans, maize, pasture for animals. Nothing stands a chance.
Oh, hell no. First Corona, now locusts. I hope we're not seeing a reboot of the Old Testament. Yeah, because then as firstborn sons, we'll have to worry. Although Trump is probably going to be like, can we do secondborn this time? Go with Jesus, Eric. He's a nice man. Go with him. Go with him. And this is one of the things that's really sad about climate change, right? Although it's affecting everyone, the effects are felt in very different ways in developing nations. Because in a first world country, a lot of climate change is abstract. It's like, did you hear that Aspen might not have the best snow for skiing this year? Whereas in Africa, it's like, can you hear anything besides the locusts? What? I can hear you over the locusts! It's a lot harder to deny climate change when locusts are eating all of your food. Like, that's maybe the one thing that Americans need to do to get everyone on board. Just have the locusts come to America and start taking all the tables at Olive Garden. Yeah. Then you'll see Congress take action. I couldn't get anything! Yeah. And once they show up, locusts are crazy. They can decimate a field of crops, then they fly 100 miles to eat another crop. Yeah, it won't be the same in America, though, because like food in Africa isn't modified. If locusts try to do that with American food, they would eat at one place, and they'd be like, I need to sleep now. I need to sleep. I can't fly anymore.